All right, we're back here on SportsLine. Fun conversation there with Carter Crutchfield as he gets set as Sean McVay's right-hand man to enter into the Super Bowl arena on Sunday afternoon with the Rams taking on the Bengals. And as we said off the top of the show, big day here in Nashville. Of course, Titans not playing in that game, but trying to lock up their future and ensure they have more opportunities to get to that game. Contract extensions for both general manager John Robinson and for head coach Mike Vrabel. The team also today officially announced the hiring of Tim Kelly as their passing game coordinator. Kelly spent the last 3 seasons as the offensive coordinator with the Texans. Before that, he was on the staff in Houston, so he worked hand in hand with Mike Vrabel down there. And reportedly in the past, a year ago, when Arthur Smith left to become the head coach of the Falcons, Kelly was someone that the Titans and Vrabel were interested in talking to then about the possibility of coming here to be the offensive coordinator. The Texans were going through a coaching change at the time, but they didn't allow him to interview and ultimately stayed on with new coach David Culley there. Culley then fired this season, and Smith able to get out of the situation, and he will come to Nashville to be the pass game coordinator. So that's somebody that they certainly like. It'll be interesting to see what kind of an impact he can have. And then the other guy that they introduced today is the new inside linebackers coach, placing Jim Haslett, and that'll be nice to see as well, because the Titans linebackers have had a good season last year. They want to keep those guys tied up. Bobby King, sorry, I was blanking there. Bobby King is the new inside linebackers coach. He's a guy that's coached for 12 years in the NFL, a lot of time with the Texans as well, and has worked with Vrabel in the past as well. Out of his contract, able to go to a new job. But it'll be interesting to see how that meshes in, because it's hard to complain about what you got from the linebackers or the defense this season. But he comes in as one of the big coaching changes of the offseason. But I think the big one everybody's going to talk about is Tim Kelly and where he fits in there. For more on that, let's turn it over now to our buddy John Burton with our other friend, Jonathan Hutton of Outkick, to talk more on the Titans' offseason plans.
Time to bring in our Titans insider, Jonathan Hutton from Los Angeles. Hollywood Hutton. He's going to be there all week on Radio Row with his Outkick 360 show. Jonathan, the big news this week, of course, the Titans' decision to bring in Tim Kelly to help with the offense. What kind of impact should Titans fans hope he can have on Ryan Tannehill, Todd Downing, and company?
Well, first and foremost, the play-action pass will be back. We're going to see that from Tim Kelly if, in fact, he's in charge of the passing offense. 2 tight end sets, 1 running back. No one did it more than Arthur Smith in 2020. Tim Kelly's offenses in Houston were always top 5 in 12 personnel. Tannehill played his best football as a Titan the previous 2 seasons when they were heavy 12 personnel using those 2 tight end sets. They'll upgrade that position considerably this offseason and expect to see them use it a lot more than what Todd Downing did last season, John.
Elsewhere in the AFC South, Houston's still looking for a head coach, but the Jaguars have hired Doug Peterson, who, of course, won a Super Bowl with the Eagles a couple years ago. What do you expect Peterson will be able to do with Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars?
Well, he's going to get the ball to the running backs. They have Travis Etienne coming back. He has weapons and a franchise quarterback and the #1 pick, but he admitted this is an uphill climb. It's going to take time, but Peterson brings a pedigree of working with some of the best quarterbacks over the years, and he's also backed up quarterbacks over the years like Dan Marino and Brett Favre. He, of course, worked in Kansas City and worked in Philadelphia with Michael Vick. Now he takes over Trevor Lawrence. He brings in that Super Bowl pedigree, and it should mesh well with the quarterback. I think it's a good hire.
Yeah, as you said, Peterson arrives in Jacksonville with Lawrence and the #1 pick again this year to help their rebound. Jay Hutt, sit tight there, Mr. Hollywood. We're coming right back to you.
Sounds good.
All right, fellas, we appreciate that. Obviously, the Titans at the Pro Bowl over the weekend. Kevin Byard got an interception in the game. Jeffrey Simmons had a pass breakup. Harold Landry with 5 tackles. Who says there's no defense, by the way? There are 3 defensive touchdowns in the Pro Bowl. No tackles, but 3 defensive touchdowns. It was an interesting game to watch. I don't think you can really describe it as true football, but you certainly had stars on the field, and you saw some guys make a few plays here and there, which was fun. And, you know, based off of the rating, You tell people that there's going to be an NFL game, it could even be an exhibition like the Pro Bowl, and people are going to turn in and watch. And they did on Sunday as the AFC won. An AFC team, by the way, coached by Mike Vrabel and the Titans coaching staff. They won the game 41-35. Roger Saffold also on the offensive line for the AFC from the Titans. Those guys, all key members of this team. Harold Landry, a huge priority in free agency for the Titans in the offseason. That and what else may be a priority for the Titans, and some topics big in the NFL, especially this week as all eyes turn to Los Angeles in the Super Bowl. That's in segment 2 here with Jonathan Hutton. Okay, Hollywood, we heard John Robinson say it. Re-signing Harold Landry is a top priority after his 12-sack season. How much does this defense need Landry back, and how much are they going to have to pay him?
It's about bringing the front four back. And it starts with Harold Landry because everyone else is under contract. It's time to pay Landry. They've developed him into the player he was in 2021. And it vastly improved their pass rush with that nucleus together, Steve, because they can get to the quarterback with 4 rushers. And that's vastly important. Look what they did in the postseason, putting up 9 sacks against Joe Burrow, and what they did down the backstretch of the season. They had 43 quarterback pressures in their final 5 games. They were getting after the signal caller. Landry's got to be back to be a part of that nucleus that they've built up.
Landry was a Pro Bowler. Jeffrey Simmons was a Pro Bowler. We saw him terrorize Joe Burrow with the pass rush and 3 sacks in the playoff game. 2021 was a breakout year for Big Jeff. Is 2022 the year he gets mentioned in the same conversation with Aaron Donald and the best defensive lineman in football?
He's already being mentioned in that category amongst league circles. Coaches, scouts light up whenever you bring up Jeffrey Simmons. I think 2022 is the year where he makes his mark and becomes a household name league-wide amongst fans. But he's already to the Pro Bowl, and people are starting to get a look at him. The Titans are on national television a bit more often, but his dominance on the interior took off to the next level because he was getting the quarterback on the ground. And this is the first time we've seen him do that on a consistent basis with 8.5 sacks and the quarterback pressures and the tackles for loss. Only Aaron Donald had more sacks this year on the QB amongst defensive tackles. Jeffrey Simmons is already there. Next year is all about the fans getting to know him.
All right, league-wide, you're in L.A. Big news this week is former Dolphins coach Brian Flores filed a lawsuit against the NFL and 3 teams alleging racial discrimination in their hiring and firing practices. How much will that story be a black cloud over this Super Bowl week?
It's going to be discussed quite a bit. It's already started, this morning and this afternoon here on Radio Row with just some of the shows that have already started to hit L.A. And I think more so the conversation about the allegations that Miami was willing to pay him to lose games. Because when you consider that the league has now opened its doors to the gambling and the online sports gaming, that plays a big factor in how everyone views them. And that in and of itself, it may be the biggest storyline that's being discussed league-wide.
Yeah, a lot of bombshell allegations there requiring investigation. Quickly before we go, I can't ask you to break down whatever version of football we saw today in the Pro Bowl, but I do want a Super Bowl pick before you go. Rams or Bengals, who you got?
I'm taking the Rams. It's going to be a tight game. 5 of the last 6 games have been decided by a field goal, and that both of these kickers were drafted in the 5th round. They've invested in that kicking game. I think it comes down to a kick late, but I'm taking L.A. to win at their home stadium. It'll
be quite a finish to an incredible playoffs. You can catch Jonathan Hutton on Outkick 360 all week from Radio Row 2 to 5 on the Outkick Network. Jonathan, thanks, buddy.
Thank you, guys.